Hey TKH, so game changer here, mate. Apologise, I'm trying to do it this way, but I'm trying to film my phone screen just to show you what I can see if I was an enemy using my alternative account. So you can see there that your bases, your buildings are that close to your walls, that your spawn zones are actually going to be quite close to your buildings. So you can see, if I'm going to just imagine that screenshot there going, I'm just going to pause you right there and we'll go back to the normal view. Right, brother. So yeah, because your spawn zone means that pretty much you're going to start here. You straight away going to be nailing your turrets. You know, you're going to be able to hit them quite quickly. You need to push these buildings out. They're not acting as walls because you've got the M270s anyway. I mean, you can fire over over the perimeter. So you must understand that there is going to mean that if I park my tank, say here, and use the M270s, your mortar and your salvo are going to lock onto the tank. Meanwhile, my M270s would just fire straight over the top and take them two out. I can then hit your war factory. I can then hit obviously your helicopters and things like that. And the M270, don't forget, also outranges the big gun. You know, so you do need to be kind of thinking a little bit clever on your defence. I do like your anti-air attack. You've got your two anti-air on there. You've got obviously your missiles and your flak. That's great. That's very good. But my personal advice on your base would be to get your barracks inside your wall. I would personally get your your command center outside the wall. You don't really need to protect your your factory really. Now you've set your spawn zone quite close here, so anybody spawning here really should be up against Shit Creek because they should be straight away in range of things. Now I can't quite tell. I know the two machine guns would pick you up, but I suspect the Peacemaker wouldn't. So if you're setting the trap like that, you need to make sure that anybody spawning there gets hit big time. Otherwise, again, they're going to take out your weak spots probably here, because I reckon you could take out your two machine guns and your flak there for relatively little damage, because you're not going to get picked up by the big gun. So just be careful of that. Make sure obviously that you're not giving the guys any sort of weak spots. So if it was me, all these buildings that you've got really close together here, if you move them out 2.5 squares gap between each single one, so you've got a wall there, if you have 2.5 squares and then a building, and then in between each building 2.5 squares, you can space your base out so that your spawn zones are really far out, and that means people have got to travel to your base, which gives you a chance to get your vehicles out, it gives you a chance to get your helicopters up, it gives you a chance to get your barracks out as well. But I would imagine that you're going to lose your barracks in seconds, so if you've got mortar men inside there, that's a defence that you've lost straight away. So just have a little bit of a think about that for me and see if you can do something stronger. And also I'd be putting these mines to where people are going to spawn. They're either going to spawn this side, I would imagine, to set the war factory for free. I'd probably spawn somewhere here to try and get that Peacemaker taken care of early on, because that's probably the most damage of all your turrets in there, and it's got such a long range, as you probably already realise. Or you might attack from this corner here to take care of obviously these three and get them out of the way. It's all about taking the turrets out for minimum damage, isn't it? So if you were to look at that, I'd be thinking, well, you know what, he's probably wanting to start here, put a mine there. He's probably wanting to start here, put a mine there. Maybe over here, put a mine there. So yeah, have your mines where you think people are going to want to attack you from, and that's obviously extra defence as well, because with the M270 setup and GMLRS and things like that, you could probably nail every single one of these turrets without actually getting inside the base, so therefore the mines aren't really useful. You would just go around. And that's the other thing as well, if you think that you can get your base absolutely hammered, but if one thing survives, your base is still unbeaten, and the guys get nothing for it. By having everything close together, you could destroy this base quite easily. Yes, you've got to get past the turrets, but then everything's so close that you just be able to literally round everything up and take it out, quite easily by spreading everything out far and wide, like you have over here with this, for example. And if you join the dots and do that with everything else, remember that 2.5 square rule. You can start to make your spawn zone really quite far out, and that's really key that you look at that. So that'd be my advice. Have a little look at that and see what you think, and then we can go from there. Cheers, bro.